Hi. Hello. I'm just waiting for people to join before I start talking about how excited I am to be speaking with Mina Harris. Oh, you know what? I'm trying to, how do I pin a comment? Paste? Nope, not that one. One sec. Okay. Hello. Post, and then I pin this. Sorry, hi. Okay. Hi. Okay, I am so excited in general to be doing this because I miss other human beings. But I am especially honored to be here today because we have the chance to talk with Mina Harris, who is quite literally a phenomenal woman. She is a lawyer, a New York Times bestselling author. She's the founder of her brand Phenomenal. She went to Stanford and then to Harvard Law. She's a mother to 2 daughters, and she is Senator Kamala Harris's niece. And the fact that she is willing to be here with us today is a really bizarre, kind of unbelievable experience, and I feel wildly lucky, and I hope you guys do too, to be able to hear from someone as close to Senator Harris as she is, as close to the election as we are. I think it's wildly important. I don't know if you guys have voted yet. You can tell me in the comments. I hope the answer is yes, and if you haven't, I hope you tell me what your voting plan is. But I started early because of how excited I am. My cousin Luke is in the comments. Hi, Luke. Good to see you. Let me see. I'm just waiting for her to join because I'm so early. But I'm trying to, I'm so flustered. I also I've never had the opportunity to kind of have this kind of like conversation with anyone before. And so this is a really new and exciting experience for me. And I just feel crazy grateful to Mina, who's for some reason agreed to speak with me today. Someone said, I know it's not that big of a deal, but I'm voting for the first time this year for city mayor and senator. It is a huge deal, and I'm so excited for you. Blake said you're even 10 minutes early to your lives. I'm early to everything, in case you didn't know. All right, I'm again early. So I hope you're all hanging in and doing well and feeling all right despite the times. And hey, Kayla, I have some pictures I have to send you. But yeah, I'm just gonna reiterate in case there are any new viewers. Mina Harris is about to hop on and have a conversation with us today. She is a lawyer, a New York Times bestselling author. She is the founder of her brand Phenomenal. She went to Stanford and Harvard Law. She is a mother to 2 daughters. She is Senator Kamala Harris's niece, and it's genuinely just like an unbelievable honor to have the opportunity to have her on today. And I'm kind of very inexperienced in conversation that is being watched, and so I took a bunch of notes because that's the kind of person that I am. So if I'm looking down, I'm not avoiding, I'm simply referencing thoughts because I have a bunch of questions for her today. Let me see. All right, I'm just gonna keep waiting. Do you see what I'm wearing? Do you see? Also, sorry, I feel very disheveled. My hair is not clean, but you don't need clean hair to vote, and that's all that matters. So if you're like me, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it at all. Someone said, want to be besties? I do. But you're going to want to be besties with Mina as soon as she joins, because she's cooler than everybody else. Yeah. I'm slightly glad that she wasn't on here to hear me fangirling about her, because that's what I just did for 5 straight minutes. I just keep checking to see if we're ready. Not yet, I don't think. Okay, I'm gonna keep checking until she joins. But she can join whenever she wants. I will sit here for hours for the opportunity to speak with her. Check in. Okay. I want to make sure that I'm not messing anything up, because I've definitely added people to lives in the past, but I've never added someone where I've needed to. Do you know what I'm saying? Now I'm like nervous that I'm gonna mess something up. Again, in case, I'm sorry, this is the 3rd time I'm gonna tell you about her, but in case there are new viewers, Mina Harris is a phenomenal woman. She is a lawyer. She is a New York Times bestselling author. She is a mother to 2 daughters. She went to Stanford and then to Harvard Law. She is unbelievable. She is Kamala Harris's niece, and it's a genuine honor to be able to speak with her today, not only because of who she is, but to have the opportunity to speak with somebody as close to Senator Harris as she is, as close to the election as we are, is a really unbelievable opportunity. So I'm very excited that you guys are all tuning in. I can't wait to speak with her, and I just feel super lucky. So, oopsie, sorry, someone said your hair looks like clouds. Really? It looks pretty flat to me. Someone said she literally sounds like a super mom. Doesn't she sound like a superhero? I don't understand how she does everything that she does. But we're gonna find out, because she's gonna join us, and she's gonna hopefully tell us herself. I really cannot wait. I'm sitting here like bouncing. I'm like, where do I want to talk to her? But I hope you guys are well. I apologize for this long intro. I joined 10 minutes earlier than I needed to, but only because I'm this excited, clearly. Someone said, did you vote on my behalf? I absolutely did. Hi, Sadie. I miss you. Check in again to see if we're ready. Not yet. Okay, thank you guys for hanging in. Someone saying Gracie being Mina's biggest fan. Yeah, that's oh, it's someone's birthday. Happy birthday. Happy belated to anyone who had a birthday recently. Someone said save the live. I will be saving the live. Oh, I'll be saving the live, and this whole intro of me fangirling is gonna be there. So that's maybe embarrassing. Maybe really embarrassing. Someone asked what I'm doing for Halloween. I am decorating cookies. Someone said, are you on Fallon tonight? I'm on Kimmel tonight, somehow. But do you know what's more exciting than that? Is the fact that Mina Harris is about to be here. So I think we can all agree. Again, for those who have not noticed, I am really repping. This shirt's so soft. I can't believe how... My mom is on and she said, show the puppy. Okay. I'll show the puppy. While he's sleeping. This is Weenie. That's Weenie. That's my puppy Weenie. Weenie is now almost 10 weeks old. I'm gonna check again. Okay, still not yet. That doesn't matter because I'm just gonna keep talking. Someone said you should drop a menu. I wish that I were better at creating recipes myself, but I do a lot of just discovering them and then, you know, recreating. And I know everybody loves Weenie. Everybody loves Weenie. Weenie's the best. Weenie sleeps, not for well, he kind of does sleep for a lot of the day. And because he's so young and he has a lot of energy and wakes up incredibly early, he naps throughout the day. And then I think that it should be my turn to nap whenever he naps, but that's really not how it works, unfortunately. And then I'm like, I wish I could nap more. Meanwhile, Mina Harris, she probably doesn't nap. She probably doesn't have time to nap. I don't know how you could be a lawyer and a best-selling author and a mother and nap. If I'm ever even one of those things, I will probably never nap again. Hi, you guys. Again, thank you for being here. This is really exciting. I know that my part in this so far hasn't been exciting, so thanks for hanging in. Like, you and me both were just waiting for the main attraction, because what a crazy opportunity this is. I'm just gonna keep talking. I wish Ween was awake so we could play. But I've been told not to wake up puppies when they're sleeping because they need the rest. Someone said I'm visualizing Mina joining the live. Yeah, you and me both. Someone said, someone just said Annie's white cheddar mac and cheese out of nowhere. That's my favorite food. I think that's my favorite food in the whole world. Mina! Okay, I'm gonna scream. Okay. But I'm not gonna scream, okay? It's gonna be fine.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Hi, don't apologize.
I just
No, dude, I literally
being really late to everything now. I'm so
really truly just saying for the past 5 minutes that I don't know how I'd be able to do anything with my life ever if I had like even half the obligations that you do in your life. So I'm just, thank you for being here. It's so nice to meet you in this weird
Thank
way.
you.
No.
Thank you.
I've given like a 10-minute fangirl intro, so everyone who's on is like
No pressure. Oh my god.
Well,
and I showed up so late. Oh my
No. I'm just so honored to be here with you today. Thank you for taking the time. I can't imagine like what your life looks like right now and how you're feeling, but how are you feeling? Like, how we're so close and I don't know how you're still standing.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have like entered the phase of like crippling anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're 6 days out, I think, right? So
yeah.
We're so close. It's hard. I mean, I'm really hopeful and I'm excited and
Yeah.
we're just seeing incredible turnout. right? Like people are really excited to vote and people are turning out in record numbers. Young people are turning out in record numbers. But then there's also the like, what's going to happen? I can't take the wait any longer.
No.
It's just, it's a lot. So I kind of oscillate between that, excitement and inspiration and hope, and just love seeing all the enthusiasm, and obviously I'm very excited, and then I'm just like, oh my God, please let this election like happen already.
I know.
How about you? I mean, I think, obviously I have a personal tie to it, but I think a lot of people are feeling this way. How are you feeling?
I feel what is probably a fraction of what you are feeling, considering how close you are to everything. But and this is my first presidential election I've been able to vote in, and
Wow.
and I feel incredibly inspired because I'm so kind of consistently surrounded by voices that are in the same shoes that I'm in, voting for the first time and feeling kind of the energy that gives us, and feeling empowered in that particular way. But of course, at the same time, it's impossible right now to think about anything else. So it's just a lot. It's a lot.
Wait, so because you're 18 now, obviously, right? So when did
I'm 21 actually.
Oh, okay.
I just missed last.
Got it. Oh, right. So you said presidential. Okay, understood. Got it.
Yeah,
That's a big deal. People, when you get old like me, people are going to ask you, like, what was the first presidential campaign that you ever voted in, and how did that feel?
I know.
And
what a wild
big deal.
It's a huge deal. And I just want to, jump in. I am so much less experienced than you are at doing these kinds of conversations. So I have notes, and like, I'm a huge nerd. So I'm looking down. It's at paper. It's not at anything else.
You know what? Same thing, Gracie.
Okay.
I'm just running on fumes here. So I got my notes. You got your notes.
Okay.
We're both prepared.
Perfect.
We're both prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's what we are. We're just prepared. So you are an entrepreneur, an attorney. You are a best-selling author, the founder of the Powerhouse brand that is phenomenal. You're a mother. Like, I'm not stretching at all when I say that you're kind of like the role model for young women across the globe.
My gosh.
For me specifically, at the top of your list of admirers right now in this moment. And women's empowerment just feels like a kind of like a pillar core value in the Harris family. And I'm curious about that, kind of like, if you could tell us more, like, where did that come from, and what does that mean to you generally, but right now in this moment specifically?
Gosh, well, I feel like, women's empowerment is something that I sort of have been like living and breathing my whole life. And now that I'm a parent myself, I've really come to appreciate just how unique my family was, which was that is all women, and like very strong, outspoken women. And so I just had, that my whole life, and it's sort of who I am, and it's all I knew growing up. Intense anxiety, and just like, it's so hard to get through each day, and I just want to have this election already, but also just this sort of really sitting with the gravity of this moment of, the opportunity to elect the first female vice president in U.S. history, and the first South Asian vice president, first with politics, or like my first real one with presidential politics, was the Obama campaign in 2008, right? We were talking earlier about, what this is going to be your first presidential election where you're voting, and how important that is and amazing that is. And I feel like in 2008, God, how old were you in 2008? Like,
I was 9. I know, isn't that horrifying? I know.
Why did I ask you that? Oh my God, you were 9. Oh my God. I can't believe you just said that. So, that was my first, first kiss, and my first with, presidential politics. Anyway, I feel like as a young person being a part of that, I felt like we really got to just like sit and with the significance of it and celebrate it. And it was, it was electing the first Black president in U.S. history. And I don't know, this time around, I just feel like we're in such a moment of crisis again, this idea of like oscillating back and forth between like anxiety and, you know, hope and inspiration, I feel like I haven't been able to like really sit with that as much, right? Like I feel like we're just like, it's an emergency, this is a crisis, we have to get out of this, we, you know, need leaders who care if Americans die. Like that's literally the choice we have. And so anyway, I'm rambling, but that's all to say that I appreciate the question, because I try to remind myself, and I want to remind others, like, sit with that significance and understand that everything that we are doing right now, you campaigning and us doing this conversation and folks that are, you know, reaching out to their friends and family and making sure people are turning out, you are a part of history. This is historic, right? And my mom and aunt say this all the time, and I remember talking about 08 in the same way, which is, you know, when we look back on this moment, which is again a moment of crisis, a historic moment, you know, and I want to be proud of what I tell my kids. And I think all of us want to be proud that, you know, we're able to say that we did something right in this moment. And so anyway, that's all to say, you know, again, thank you for everything that you are doing. And let's celebrate that, right? And recognize that we are a part of history and this is an historic moment.
Right. I mean, I have like literal voting in this election. It's like truth is on the ballot, justice is on the ballot, reuniting families is on the ballot, climate, like our literal planet, personal freedom and liberation. It like could not be a more critical moment if we tried to imagine one. And these threats are not existential, they are incredibly real and tangible. And I guess you know, what you were just saying about we tell our family down the line, it's like voting is the least we can do in this moment. And I think that not only kind of emphasizing that along the way, because there are so many other opportunities day to day that we can kind of be taking advantage of. You are doing all of the work. I just am kind of more speaking to my audience, who's a younger audience, a lot of us being first time voters. There's just a lot. And so I guess, again, like having the opportunity to hear from you is a really, it's an honor. So thank you again.
Oh, thank you. And I would add, you know, I think I want to acknowledge that as we talked about, like, this is a health crisis that we are in. It's an economic crisis. Like our world is just experiencing so much not knowing what the future looks like for our families and for our communities. And like, that is so hard on its own. And then on top of that, right, we have, you know, leadership that is exploiting this for, you know, personal enrichment. We have, right, like this election that we are trying to, you know, say no to that and fight back. And it's hard, right? And I'd add that, like, they want it to be hard. They want us to feel hopeless and helpless. They want us to feel so beat down and exhausted that we just acquiesce. Like, that is what authoritarianism looks like, right? I mean, let's, you know, talk about this rushed, you know, Supreme Court confirmation. Same thing. They want us to feel like, no matter how you feel, no matter how much you scream, it doesn't matter. We're going to keep doing this to you over and over again. And to your point, the least we can do is vote. And that is fighting back against this, right? And saying, I won't accept that. I will not allow you to do this to me, right? I mean, that's what we're dealing with. And I feel it, you know, I feel that exhaustion so intensely in ways I don't know that I've ever felt this sort of exhaustion and sense of just being overwhelmed ever in politics, you know? And I have to remind myself that, like, that's what they disengage. They want me to feel, right? They want people to feel disaffected, and we can't allow that to happen. And that's why I really think about this election. Again, there's so much happening, but not only, right, in terms of the gravity of this, but it's fighting back. It's saying, I'm not going to me to anyway, it's a lot. And so I know if there are other folks out there that are feeling this, it's normal. And I, somebody who is living and breathing this all day long, every day, it's hard for me too. But you know, I think I've become like a little bit more like kind to myself and saying, if you do need to lay down, that's okay, but you gotta get back up, right? And like make a plan to figure out how you're gonna do that. So whatever you need, you know, when we got word of the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett, I mean, I literally, like, it was a very hard night. And I tweeted this, like, I actually ordered a family size box of Cheez-Its, because in that moment, all I wanted to do was like house a box of Cheez-Its.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was an especially hard night for everyone, and not to be grim about this, but I guess like piggybacking off of that subject matter, like because I think it'll be important for people to hear, like, what to you is at stake in this election, and why do you think it is so crucial that we all do show up to vote in this moment? I know that's heavy and loaded, but
yeah, I think, I mean, the list is long, right? It starts with our most fundamental rights and freedoms, and Americans have died from a deathly virus, or, you know, leadership who is not even willing to acknowledge that, and is worse yet, exploiting this crisis for personal political gain. Like, when you talk about what's at stake and what the choices are, I mean, my God, like, how much more of this can we endure, right? Like, we're now it's been life or death from the beginning. We know that, right? And we saw that in terms of, you know, day one with the Muslim ban, you know, his inciting racially motivated violence against, you know, communities of color. We've known this since day one. But now it's come to the point where we have a body count of over 220,000 Americans who are dead. Like, that is what is at stake. Human life is at stake here. So that's under attack right now. Our constitutionally protected rights are under attack, our democracy. So sorry, like, this is when you're like, I know this is a loaded question. This is when I start raising my voice.
I know, I mean, it's everything. And even, I mean, I guess just that last bit, like, thinking about how the fact in under 4 years, these are choices that, whether, you know, whatever the turnout is next week, these are truly like lasting impacts that for the rest of probably my life, like, I will.
That was the thing I was thinking about with, I mean, most of all, and in this moment in general, it's the first time that I'm a parent, and yes, this is going to affect my daughters and their ability and their reproductive right. I mean, not mine too, right? And their ability to make choices about what they do with their bodies. Like, she's on a court for life. Like, that is, you know, the gravity of this. It's going to affect generations to come. And I want to emphasize what you said, which is that Trump has now, okay, in one term, he has now appointed a third of the Supreme Court. A third of the Supreme Court in 4 years.
Yeah, I have full body. I mean,
so if people want to know, you know, if their vote matters and what the consequences are, that's it. Like, I have a long list of examples, but one guy that we elected 4 years ago has now, you know, has impacted the court for, you know, generations to come, which is again why we also need to be having conversations around expanding the court and really reevaluating, right? A lot of this stuff that we just sort of accepted and has not been working for a long time. But that was stunning to me to really sit with that the night that she was confirmed, and to really understand, like, in one term, one guy, the most corrupt president in U.S. history has now
the hardest to swallow. Nothing like it really talking about except for the hope in all of it. Like, everything is nauseating, and it's I think that alone for a lot of people who are feeling like they are paying attention for the first time ever, because we have to, like, that kind of, I guess, contributing towards the exhaustion of wanting to feeling defeated in the ways that they want us to, but getting up regardless is, you know, obviously the most important thing.
I think too, it's just like, again, we're all living through this pandemic. I don't think that I have like the emotional strength to like keep doing this for 4 more years. Like, the thought, as you said, I mean, it's like, it makes me cringe.
I mean, our literal planet alone, like, we will not have like, there are, I don't know, it makes me completely speechless, like, in ways that are almost laughable, but not even remotely laughable. It's like, it's anyway.
So what are you, I want to ask you though, because I mean, you're a young person, and you know, you have obviously a lot of young folks that are looking to you and your leadership. You know, you asked me, what do I tell them in terms of what's at stake and how do I mobilize people? What are you telling folks? Because I think I want to, you know, make clear that obviously we have this whole, you know, concept of being an influencer and, right, a celebrity and being able to influence people, but there's nobody more influential than each of us with our own, you know, personal networks and communities. And so I want to know not what you're saying to like your fans, but how are you talking to your friends, your family, your extended family, and what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I feel very lucky to have grown up in a super kind of like politically active household. So in terms of my family, I am, you know, kind of, I'm lucky that I'm not fighting them on any of my values. We are, you know, super aligned in ways that I feel grateful for, you know, not only just generally, but especially being, you know, in a pandemic. I think about all the families that are so divided as our country is. I luckily am not kind of on the side of feeling like I need to kind of weed through these issues. I feel supported, which I think is a really important thing to feel in a moment when I think our government does not support us at all. But it also feels like my generation has really integrated our values in our lives in a way that's different because of social media, because of how tangible everything is, and social media very much like allows, it honestly like encourages us to connect with people who share the same values, and then start conversations with people who maybe don't, and conversations that in my experience have only ever been incredibly constructive. And I guess Kamala specifically has a kind of like vitality that understands the importance of those conversations. And so for me, in terms of talking with my friends, not, you know, fans or followers, although I really do try to have the same kind of like rhetoric about everything with everyone, because that kind of like transparency is incredibly important to me in this moment. I think like speaking my truth in moments like these is equally, if not wildly more important than speaking my truth in my songwriting and speaking my truth with my family. You know what I mean? It's like,
and by the way, I want to make sure, I mean, obviously, you know, folks like you, especially young people who are using their incredible, you know, influence and platforms and power to do that is huge, and it is so important. So I want to make sure I'm not discounting that, right? I think the point is we need to do all of it.
Of course. Well, that's like, it does feel like voting is the least we can do. Like, if there's any kind of platform at all and it's not being used, it's a serious waste. And I think it's a responsibility that like needs to be taken advantage of and taken very seriously. And again, just like speaking to, and I don't know even nearly as much as you do, obviously, but like through Kamala, what's been really inspiring for me, and what I do talk a lot about with my friends and with my family and with my followers, is that like I can see a pathway for myself and my sisters around the world in her candidacy. And at the same time, like the kindness of Biden and his contribution during the Obama administration makes me excited to think that we can bring back honor and character and justice in the highest, you know, offices of our land, and so to see examples of what public service looks like and what honor looks like is something that I want for myself and for my family and for my friends and for my children one day. It's just like, it feels like this is a lot. I mean, it doesn't feel like it is a lot more of like a long-term kind of thinking. Like you said, this is it. Unfortunately, does feel like the emergency that it is, and so kind of that's the way that I think about it and talk about it when I do. So
yeah, no, I mean, I think you're exactly right. I think it's that, you know, it's like getting back to humanity and character and like leading with that, right? And I think that Joe and Kamala stand out. I think we have lots of incredible role models for public service, but I think they in particular share this in such a beautiful way, which is just this love for people and just this deep, you know, empathy and compassion. And people ask me, you know, like, what's a, you know, like story about Kamala that nobody knows, and I'm like, I'm not going to give you one of those, but what I tell people is that she truly, in every aspect of her life, is a caretaker, and like she loves taking care of people, and you see that come through in her public service, right? And I think with Joe, you see the same thing. Like, they just love people, and when you see them are, you know, the ability to connect with people and care about them in such a decent way, and then to contrast that again with what we currently have is just kind of mind-blowing. Again, that's like what we're trying to get back to. But in that way, it is, you know, when we talk about what's at stake and it's about being the soul of our nation, I mean, that's what I think we're talking about. It's about our character, you know, what is the culture that we are teaching our children. I think about, you know, when we've been watching the debates, I like to, you know, expose my kids to that stuff. They, you know, we talk about politics as much as I can with a 2 and a 4-year-old. But there have been the last 2 debates, you know, they kind of like coincided with the end of dinner. And so we had it on, and then they were running into the living room to watch it. And both these 2 moments, I was sort of like, ooh, I don't know if they should watch this, because I was worried about, you know, how Trump was going to be acting on TV and that they'd have to see that. That's nuts. That's nuts that I thought my like reflex was, ooh, we might not want the kids. And I'm somebody, by the way, who was like over the top, like trying to talk to a 2 and a 4-year-old about Donald Trump and the election and you know, what's at stake. But it was just this moment of like, oh, that's not kid appropriate. Like, that's insane. That's insane.
That's insane. I mean, that makes my heart sink. And I honestly, like, I feel the same way when I have a 14-year-old brother. Who's incredibly aware of all of this, and having grown up him even more than I did with the overexposure that social media allows us. Like, I feel sick to my stomach when he's in the room and Trump's on television. Like, it is like and it's a horrible thing, because we did not grow up watching a person like him in office. Like, and for me, having like my really seriously developmental years, you know, growing up with the Obama administration, seeing real characters, seeing truth be accurately depicted, like,
again, in trusting science, like basic stuff that we should be teaching our kids and next generation. Like, this stuff is not political, but it has become that way, right?
Exactly. But yeah, so I guess, like, I have a ton of younger followers, as I mentioned earlier, like probably a ton that are new voters. What can people do who want to be involved right now in this moment to make a difference? And what is being done to make sure that our votes matter and that they will not be suppressed?
So much. I mean, first, if you are old enough to vote, obviously, please vote. We are now seeing that there are slowdowns with USPS again. So folks are being encouraged to drop your ballot off in person and to not mail it through the mail. So if you do have a mail-in ballot in your possession and you haven't voted yet, I encourage folks to actually put it in a drop box, a ballot drop box, or take it to the polling location, to your city hall, wherever the ballot drop off is. Do not put it in the mail. So voting, as we talked about this whole time, like, that's the least we can all be doing. And then I would say, you know, for folks that may not be old enough to vote, that you still have so much power in this election to use your voice and to make sure that folks are aware of, you know, everything we talked about today. What is at stake? Why you, as somebody who's not old enough to vote, care about this enough to be talking about it, right? And to be raising awareness in your own community. Even if you're not old enough to vote, you can volunteer. There are, you know, phone banks every day of the week. There are tons of ways that you can plug into the campaign, no matter how old you are. And I think that's sort of the silver lining too of this, you know, pandemic, is that you can do it from the comfort of your couch, right? And
100%.
every minute matters, especially now that we are down to just 6 days until the election. If you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes a night to text whoever, like anyone, just text anyone about the election. But if you're really serious about, you know, kind of contributing real volunteer hours, there's the Vote Joe app, which has resources and ways that you can, you know, do phone banking, text banking. I think the last thing I'll say about that is, and again, it's just sort of sad being in this moment of crisis and not being able to be with each other in person, is that for me, as somebody who's been in politics my whole life, just some of the most beautiful moments of connection, and as we talked about, humanity and meeting new people and learning about, you know, different people, that is like what presidential campaigns are about. And I made in '08, I made some of my best friends in the entire world, my lifelong friends, on that campaign. So don't also, you know, underestimate the way that this can lift you up and make you feel community and connection that, again, we are all just craving and needing so badly, not only in terms of the outcome and what we're fighting for, right, to get back to that as a country, but again, while all of us are sort of enduring this, you know, pandemic alone, you know, this is a beautiful, beautiful moment to make connections with other people and to do good at the same time. And I say that, you know, especially to young folks. Again, I made, when I was in my 20s, some of my best friends in the entire world I met on the Obama campaign in '08. And again, as an old person, I now get to, you know, look back and say, in my day, when I was 20 something and I was, you know, eating pizza and drinking too much every night of the week during the '08 campaign. And now all of us have like family, you know, we're all old people now, but it's so, again, it's history. And don't you want to, you know, have those stories to cherish and share? And I think, you know, also to put it more in like not being an old person looking back 10 years ago. I'm like, how many years ago is that? That was like 12 years ago. Okay. Wow. Because you're 21, right? Yeah. Oh, goodness. Time just flies by. But I want to say this, which is that in 2016, I was, you know, literally at Javits Center in New York City on election night. It was apocalyptic coming out of that. And the next day, I felt regret. And I wondered if I could have done more. And, you know, if I could have made some extra phone calls and I don't ever want to feel that again. And especially because I know the consequences of that. And it feels wild to like admit that as somebody who's very politically active, but I think that I could have done more. And, you know, I didn't not do anything. But again, you know, think about where you are in your, you know, moment in life, and can you stretch yourself a little bit? Can you dig a little bit deeper in these last 6 days? Because I personally, you know, taking sort of the personal connection to this out, I don't want to wake up and feel that again. I want to have no regrets. I want to know that I gave everything I could, and that was within my ability to contribute to this moment and to make a difference. And each of us can do that, right? In ways big and small. So don't underestimate that. And I don't know. What are you doing for the next 6 days? I mean, showing up for stuff like this obviously is huge and lots of time, and it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of participating in all the things that you just mentioned: phone banking, texting. I had signed up to volunteer as a poll worker, and a lot of us were not getting calls back. But my parents converted their company into a polling place, so I've been volunteering there, handing out like waters and snacks along the way to the people in line, and kind of again, like it is you forget the ways in which you can find community in these moments, despite the fact that it does feel isolating most of the time. It's like when we can identify you know, who is another person close to me or online. Like the fact that there are, you know, 200 people watching right now, like everyone here knows how to connect with people through the internet.
Yeah.
So like we can all be doing the work. So that's what I'm doing. I voted early with my mom 4 days ago, and we dropped off at a drop box, and it was a really special feeling to vote with my mom, to be supportive.
Where are you in California too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in LA. Yeah. So
I love that too. I have to say, I mean, again, back to like my '08 memories. It's like, it's such a small thing, right? Passing out water and pizza. But it's so awesome, right? To like get to be around other people that are excited to vote and are that are showing up, and to say like, I gave pizza to people who are standing in line. Awesome.
Exactly.
Right?
Also, not everyone expects like that pizza, so it's good to be getting the pizza. And
I'll tell you, as somebody that was, you know, one of these field organizers, like, oh my God, when a volunteer walked into HQ with pizza, like that was a big moment.
It's a big one.
There's ways that each of us can, you know, do those things. And again, it turns out that it makes you feel pretty good, and it's, you know, it's doing something. It's being a part of this moment.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if you have any last thoughts or words or anything. I know that we can point to a number and a text for people who want to join the campaign.
I think, you know, we've talked so much. I have to get my notes out to have the text and tell people what to do for the action. But I think it's so much what we talked about. We all want at stake. Let's spread through election day. Let's get everything we've got. Deep notes are exhausted. I know that it's overwhelming. I know that I just want the whole thing to be done. But not there yet. Make every day count. Don't take anything for granted. You know, I've had a lot of people tell me that they sort of just decided on a whim to like reach out to a distant cousin in a battleground state, and were really pleasantly sort of surprised by, you know, how amazing the conversation was, and they got their cousin to, you know, vote who wasn't planning to, or and so these unexpected moments of connection and just community, lean all the way into that, and don't underestimate your own power to move other people. Again, so many other, same thing with like volunteering, you know, friends have said that it's just sort of like someone was just waiting for somebody to ask them, right? And tell them, hey, I'm joining this, you know, phone bank. Will you do it with me? And they said yes, right? And they otherwise wouldn't have been doing that. Like, there's just so many opportunities like that. So let's make every day count for the next 6 days. And thank you so much to you and young folks like you who are showing up. I mean, I've said this time and time again, like, I'm counting on Gen Z to save all of us. I am so impressed by Gen Z. I mean, the leadership, creativity, I mean, using, again, your voice in ways that I certainly, frankly, was not doing when I was your age. And I mean, it's extraordinary what we are seeing. And I'm so inspired by it. I look up to all of you. I'm following your lead. So thank you for doing all that you do and for showing up for all of us.
Well, we are showing up because we have role models like you who have done it before us. So thank you so much for everything that you've done, everything you are somehow able to continue to do throughout the next 6 days and beyond. Obviously, I know it doesn't end there, but thank you for everything. I can't believe you agreed to do this and took the time. I'm just so grateful. I know that everyone watching is so grateful, and I will literally, like, just for the next week, just keep this conversation on repeat. So thank you for all the important reminders. Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for inspiring all of us.
Thank you. I hope I'll get to see you in person one day when we elect new leaders contain this virus, so we can actually like hug people and see them in person.
I know.
So I'll be waiting.
I know.
But thank you so much.
Soon, hopefully. All right, me too. Thank you.
All right, take care.